Okay, so we're going to start off course by setting our standing posture position. So if we take our feet to roughly hip width apart, spread out the toes so you get a nice connection down to the floor through your feet, not just the toes but the balls of the feet and the heels as well. And then we're standing up nice and tall, of course, thinking of lifting and lengthening up, but without becoming tense as we do that. So relaxing the shoulders, softening the knees, bring the hands onto the belly, and just start to notice that nice, easy, natural, gentle rise and fall of normal everyday breath. And we'll stay with that to start with. So let the arms relax down, gently dropping chin towards chest, and then lifting up. So we're coming into this little bit of lengthening stretch there. Dropping down, lifting up and lengthening away. So just for our first couple of minutes, checking into the body, seeing how everything's feeling today, and very gently just mobilising each of the major joints bit by bit. And we're going to go one more time here, down and up, and then draw back, lining up, so we're much more aware of our posture with this one. And we keep the head hopefully very balanced over the shoulders as we go into our side to side turns there. So again, we're still aware of the rest of the posture, the grounded feet, the soft knees, the relaxed shoulders, but of course our main focus is gently encouraging neck movement. Then we come back. So then we're going ear up and the shoulder stays down, anchored in place by the arm lengthening out and away. And we'll just do a couple of these. So we've just got that nice stretchy stretch all the way through the side of the neck. Okay, we're going to go one more time to either side on these, and then let the arms relax as the head carries on going over, chin towards chest, have a look, roll around, look over the shoulder, come back down and round, and have a look over. And we'll just do a couple of those. So this is going to be the final one. We roll back to the middle, and then we lift up. So we're back into that very nice, tall, very aware of head posture position. Shoulders then draw back, lift up by the ears, and curl forward, and then we slide them down. So we're trying to really hit those 4 different extremes of back, up, forward, and down. And as we hit those 4 extremes, of course, it starts to become nice and fluid, and we make that forward circling action. So this will be last one here. Let's go the other way. Curl again, lift, squeeze and slide. So we're mainly thinking shoulders, but you'll notice there is actually a little bit of upper body movement as well, as the top of the spine just slightly curls and then extends as well. So this is going to be the last one. As we come round here, we're just very aware of sliding the shoulders into the back, not jamming them in place, but definitely aware. Hands onto ribs then as we step a bit wider for our hip slides. So we just find the hips rocking or sliding side to side, so we get this lengthening down of the hip away from the rib. And that gives a good stretch to the side of the body and the low back a little bit. That's going to stretch more now as we come down into our pelvic tilts. So as we tuck underneath, we're lengthening the low back. As we stretch out, we're shortening it. So it's finding those 2 extremes of position. And we'll just do a couple more of those. So really working through, you can feel that strong abdominal activation starting to happen when you do that pelvic tilt. And then we settle back to centre, nice and balanced again, ready to rise. So we're going to float up, a little bit of an arm raise, opening out as we float down, so very slowly on the float, and then flexing as the arms come down. So everything is rising, then as we're opening, whoops, we're floating down, and as we're flexing, we're circling the rest of the way around back to the beginning, so we can just get a nice little flow going through here with that balanced position. So the main thing really is not so much how high you come, but just that steadiness, that control, just trying to do it very, very slowly, especially the downward phase. That's where it's hard, much harder to control it. So we're coming through for our last couple now. We're just, whoops, trying not to topple over. Final time, open and flex through there. Wonderful. Then the feet stay down as we reach up this time and swing through. We're going to open the arms and come into a nice little upper body twist. Back up to the top with the arms, little swing through. Again, open the arms. This time twist the other way first, just so we're not always favouring our better side. Arms up, little swing, reach, arms come out. Again, just into that nice little upper body rotation. So I'm still keeping my knees soft on that one. And with the twist, I'm keeping my hips fairly still. So I really think of turning rib cage like we would on a seated twist. We're going to go last couple through these. So swing, open, and then twist. And then this next one will be the last one, so we will have worked evenly through both sides. So we come through that final one, and then we come back up. Arms up, couple of last swings to finish there. Inhale, exhale. Be very free and fluid with that now. Inhale, exhale. One last one. Swing it through. And then reach up and just let those arms open away. Stretching out round. Good job. So we're going to step our feet out a little bit wider. Take a nice easy twist here. So I'm lifting up the back foot because I want to make sure I'm not staying stuck in position with this one. It's very free and fluid. Like I say, soft arms, easy breathing. I suppose just reconnecting the body after all of that individual work. And that will be our last one. We come back then and we're just going to give the shoulders a little roll out, loosen the arms, shake out the legs, and then we're going to come straight down to the floor. So come on down, just readjust your device position if you need to. Bring any head props that you normally use as well. And when you get down here, of course, just take a little moment to make sure that you are comfortable. So that's why you may need your head prop if you normally use that, or just flat on the floor if your posture is comfortable there. Once you are down on your back, you can rest your hands onto your belly and just start to connect into your own pattern of normal, natural, relaxed, easy breathing to start with. So we're just going to be nice and gentle, feeling that breath, connecting into it. Okay, so I'm thinking Pilates breath now. So as I inhale, I feel my belly rise more. So I'm taking in that deeper breath. As I exhale, I encourage that breath away. So it's slightly stronger and it takes me to the end of the breath. Not a forced end of the breath, I would say, but you can definitely notice you've got that abdominal connection, feeling like you're bracing your abdominals, and it happens naturally with the breathing. And that's really what we're trying to find. Okay, so with that breathing, hopefully, we're going to go into one leg stretch. So we're floating up here. This is my single leg position. I'm going to take the opposite arm up. So this will be single leg. There is a two leg version, which is just going to be the same basically. But from here, I'm going to push the leg forward and the arm forward. So often we would go away from the leg, but we're going to go with it. So I'm stretching away, a normal one leg stretch, but with the arm. As the arm comes back up, it's going to circle to return. So then we keep going, press and stretch, then draw to the top and circle to return the arm. So this is my single option. I'm going to stay here for about 10 or 15. If you are doing double leg work normally, it's the same thing, you'll just be alternating. So I'll go right leg and left arm, stretch them forward. As the leg returns, I'm making a circle pattern with my arm. And then I go the other way, stretch, circle the arm as the leg comes back in. So we're really familiar with our one leg stretch movement, and that is quite simple. It won't take much concentration to push your leg forward and back, because we're very, very familiar with it, and we're very familiar with lots of variations of one leg stretch as well that we've done over the last few weeks and months. But it's adding in that slightly different arm pattern. So the arm is coming forward, like I say, as opposed to going away, which is probably where we would more normally be. And then we're trying to create a circle pattern with the arm while the leg is still traveling in a straight line. So it's very much about engaging strongly into the abdominals, maintaining posture position, but it's also very much about engaging the mind and body connection as well, because we're really having to focus on this pattern. It's not super challenging, but it definitely requires a bit of focus. Okay, so like I say, if you're doing single leg work, you'll probably be doing in the region of about 10 or 15 maybe each side. If you're doing two leg work, you don't necessarily have to count, because you know that you're going to work evenly as you alternate, but yeah, you can probably just work a little bit more by feel. So I'm going to give you a bit longer. Stay focused there, and if you do get finished, of course, whenever you do, coming into your rest position to relax for a moment. Okay, they're looking good, everyone. Well done. So if you have finished, or when you do in a moment, as always, it's just coming into that position that is better for you. So it may be that you want to use your resting time to do some extra stretching, or some specific stretching, or it may just be that you really want to take that nice, soft, easy, relaxed position for a moment and just really rest with the breathing. Okay, that was nice. Well done, everyone. Good job. Okay, so we're going to stay here. We're going to think a little bit more now about going really much more strongly into the abdominals. That was, whenever we work on the back, there's always abdominal connection, but we're going to kind of target them, I suppose, a little bit more strongly now. So I'm thinking knees bent, feet on the floor. Again, I might have head support for now. Relax shoulders so that I can reconnect into my breath focus. Okay, so we're thinking about, well, I'll do it and I'll explain it as we go. I think is probably easier. So I'm going to have my arms resting down by the side. First position, as I breathe out, I'm going to lift the knee into the chest. Not just into a normal tabletop position though, beyond that, as I try and lift my bum off the floor a little bit. So it's a reverse curl, a bit like a single leg shoulder bridge, but not as high. And then release down, back to neutral. So I'm trying to get this scooping of the tailbone to highlight the lower abdominals. To make that more challenging, so that would be alternating. To make that more challenging, I lift up a single leg, but I still bend the knee when I come in here because I want to encourage my pelvis to tilt, like I said, think of starting shoulder bridge. Okay, so they're your two single leg options, bent leg or straight leg. You've also got double leg options, so bring your feet back in again a bit closer to your bum for this one. Lift up into double tabletop and work from here, breathing out and breathing in. You'll notice I've got my hands by the side here to give me a little bit of extra oomph, so a little bit of push. They're not really pushing me up, it's definitely the abdominals doing the work, but they're giving me a bit of support. So that's an option for the two leg position. And if you want even more challenge than that, then you would curl and then do a single toe tap. So you're doing curl and then maintain neutral, other leg toe tap. Curl and then you go like that. Okay, so there are lots of ways of making this hopefully the right level. So you've got your single bent leg, your single straight leg, and then you've got a couple of versions with the two legs as well. But it's all about that pelvic tilt, curling up through the lower abdominals, getting that scooping and trying to find, like I say, you're really trying to mimic the start of shoulder bridge, but you now don't have your bum muscles to push you up. You have to use your tummy muscles to do that curling, so it's much stronger, of course. Definitely think about your breathing. So you probably want to be breathing out as you're doing the curl, because you're getting that curl very strongly activates the abdominals, and then the breath will enhance that connection. Okay, so it's like a little baby reverse sit up really. So trying to work really strongly into those deeper abdominals. They're looking good. Very nice. So scoop, yeah, lovely. Nice scooping everybody around, and lots of options going on as well, which is always good. And lots of nice technique, which is also really important, of course. So we're going to take maybe a last few if you are still going. I'm going to give you a bit longer, but of course rest as you need to. Lovely, lovely. Okay, we are going to be turning over onto our sides this time. We're going to do a couple of things here, and for the second thing, you're going to need a head support if at all possible. So if you have got like a rolled up towel or a cushion or something, grab it now while we're on the move anyway, and then it will be ready for in a minute. If you don't have anything, don't worry, I can give you an option where your own arm supports you, so don't panic if you don't have anything there. But first of all, just checking where we are in what were we on last week? Side leg push. I think it's side bicycles this week. Yes, side bicycles. So first of all, it's side bicycles. So for the first movement, it's all going to be about big leg strong challenge movement. So just make sure you've got your head support near you, because that's for the next one, but they're both going to be on the side. So first of all, nice straight line all the way down the body, supporting your head in whichever position is the most comfortable. Your bottom leg, as with a lot of the side work, it's your choice whether you have it resting down or whether you lift it up. All the action is in the top leg. So I'm drawing up like we did for our knee pushes last week, but from here, instead of going down, I then kick out into a big stretch. I'm now going into a big sweep behind, keep the leg back and pull the heel to the bum, and then come through into that strong abdominal position again. So it's stretch, big sweep, heel to bum, and then sweep through. And that, of course, then is our bicycle movement. And I would go anywhere there up to 10 in that direction. And then you will do, of course, the reverse of that, your backward bicycling. And that's going to be, again, up to 10, so just depending on how that feels. So with this one, it's really about trying to create that space. Just make the bicycle movement as big as you can. We definitely do keep support with this one. It's not one where there's really a sort of unsupported version like there is on some of the side work, because it's really about getting the space, and you need the support to get that space through the whole of the hip area. So big stretch forward particularly, and a big stretch back, opening everything up through here. With all of that hip stuff, there is still, of course, that deeper abdominal connection that's always working when we do any sort of unstable side work like this. So, like I say, you could be going up to 20 reps here if you do 10 each way, so I'm going to give you a bit longer and just get my head support ready for the next one. 1 second. They're looking good. Nice bicycles, really, really using all that space, which is what we're after. Okay, with side work, of course, we always stretch out at the end. So when you've done that, legs go away nice and straight, arm goes overhead, whoops, arm goes overhead, and we pull into that full body length position, and we do a bit of deeper breathing while we're there. Once we've done maybe 3 or 4 breaths on our stretch, we're going to bend the knees up, and that's where then our head support comes in. So if you've got something nice and comfy to rest your head on there, so you can get this arm out basically and it's not going to squish your shoulder. Like I say, if you don't have anything, it is totally possible to do this and support your head. So we're going to be twisting through the upper body, and you can cradle your head in your hand if you need to. So that's a good option for anybody that wants it. All right, so we're going to have a few different arm positions to try here, and then you can see where works best for you. So I'm starting off slightly over the top of this hand. I'm not lined up, I'm stretching a little bit forward. Then I'm coming into like a bow position, so I'm pulling a bow and I'm opening out just as far as I can without my hips and legs going with me too much, hopefully. So upper body twist, and come forward into that nice big stretch, and then pull across, work that elbow as far back as it goes. So that's our bow and arrow position. Then we've got a straight arm position, probably a little bit more challenging, requires a little bit more space as well, so it may even be your space that determines which version you do. You have to probably control the arm a little bit more on that one. And then the third one to try, which is very, very opening into the chest, is as you start, you bring your arm over the top, and then as it comes over the top, you roll with it, and then it opens there, and that's where you get that huge chest stretch, and then you come back over the top. Now that is quite strong in the chest, so most of us probably are tight around those chest muscles, so I'm talking about the top of the chest, sort of as we go up nearer to the armpit, all around there. So it's probably good to do it and stretch it out, but if it feels a little bit too strong, you might prefer to stay with the arm, straight arm, or the bow and arrow arm. And I really don't mind, they're all good versions. And it's not just about stretching the chest either here, of course, it's about the rotation. So the opening of your chest towards the ceiling. So your chest, of course, faces forward at first, faces to the side, and then you're trying to turn it up. So it's really the rotation. So don't worry about your arm position. That's where you've got a few options to choose your favourite one really. And then, yeah, it's this that we're after, this turning, this opening, movement of the spine. Okay, nice. Yay, they're looking good. So we're going to take maybe a last couple on this one. We'll still get to do it all on the other side in a minute as well, which is good. Lovely. I always find that the over the head one is really, really stretchy for tight chest muscles, but I did it a few times yesterday and actually it does feel slightly better today, so it obviously works. It's definitely stretched me out. So from here then, we're going to push ourselves up, but we're not going to stop here because we've already done our twisting. We're going to head straight over to the other side. So we've got the bicycles first, of course, and you'll bring your head support with you for in a minute. So pop that close by and then come into your side bicycle position. So it's back into a nice straight line, of course, but up to you if you rest or lift that bottom leg. So your choice on that one. Let's come high with the knee then, into the kick as far as we can. We're trying to come round the back here, so we've got that opening of the hip there. Whoops, not too far. Heel to bum, and then up through. There. So it is just really creating space, opening up through the hip. It's challenging as well. I mean, it is also a strength exercise because you're using the weight of that leg to challenge the leg itself, but also the deeper abdominals, back muscles, glutes. So it's that combination, this one, of being strong but also stretchy, really creating that space and that mobility. Up to 10, of course, in this forward direction, and whenever you're ready then going into that backward tuck position before you then hopefully pretty much track back around the same size circle. It's a little bit harder going that way, I think. But again, up to 10. When you're done, stretching out and resting before we do the others, but you've still got plenty of time, so don't rush. Because if you're doing 10 each way, I know that's going to take you a little bit longer, so keep working, but whenever you're ready, stretch and then rest, and once we're all done, we'll all go back to the opening doors in a moment. Really, really nice. I haven't really mentioned the breathing. It's going to be more of a natural flow with these types of, where there's effort all the way around, you just really want that breath to flow naturally. Okay, good, good. Really, really nice. So yeah, when you're done, go into your stretch, use the arm as you pull overhead, go into your deeper breath, maybe just 3 or 4, and then you can rest. You may even want to grab your head thing in readiness for the opening doors in a moment. Okay, I think we're pretty much all done and ready. So, I would, even if you know which option you prefer, I would probably still do a couple of each one, because they obviously get gradually more challenging. So it's almost like a prep, a warm up in those first couple of positions. So we've got knees together, head supported, hand slightly further forward than the other hand. So you're doing a forward twist slightly first, then into the bow and arrow position, and then we roll it through there. And we probably are breathing more focused with this one, so breathe out and breathe in. If you prefer the straight arm, breathing out, still make sure the body goes though as well. It can be tempting with the straight arm one that the arm does a lot of work and the body doesn't move much. You have to make sure that it does go with it. So that's there, turning the chest up towards the ceiling, and you can let that arm go to wherever feels comfortable. Then you've got your over the top, so you're drawing a big semicircle over your own head and then back around. Yeah, very, very stretchy if the chest is tight. But like I say, it can be good to release that. 'Cause when I did these yesterday, it was super, super, super tight, and it definitely feels looser today. So you might do a few of those, but not stay there. You might come back to either bow and arrow or straight arm as you come into like the second half of the set. So the first half of the set is really going through all 3 patterns, just a couple of times each. Then the second half of the set is probably picking your favourite one and sticking with that as we go a few more reps. Very nice. They're looking good, everybody. Well done. Very nice. If you're still going, I'd say probably your last couple of reps now, and then just rest, relax here. Very, very nice. Good job. Okay, so we're going to be coming over onto our tummies next to do some more focused posture work. So come on over. We're going breaststroke prep. been a while since we've done this one. You may just want to look at it before you come into position because it's a bit of a trickier one to explain. But as we come onto our tummies with this one, we're turning the hands behind us and it's palms down. If you start palms up, it generally ends up going the wrong way. So make sure your palms are definitely down. So that means your thumbs are sticking out at the side. If you start in the right position, you should be fine through the rest of it. Now, with the rest of the body position, as long as you've got the hands there, if you're happy just holding the weight to your head, if you've got no sort of niggly neck or niggly back issues, then we're just going to have chin slightly tucked in, nose a few inches off the floor, and I'm here. And if you do require a bit of head support, then it just drops in there under the forehead. Either way, the movement is the same. So as we breathe out, we pick up the arms to start with, just a lift, but keep them quite close to you. Inhale to release. Then see if you can try and turn the thumbs out a little bit more. They may not move anymore, but that's okay. Even just trying to do it will still fire up those upper back and shoulder muscles a lot more. And then the optional part is maybe adding a bit of a lift. It doesn't matter whether you do the lift or not, and if you're supporting your forehead, of course, you won't do the raising. You'll stay still and you'll focus on the arm work on their own. But if you're not doing head supported, you may find it useful to add a little upper chest lift. It does make it more challenging, of course, because you're asking more work through the low back, the bum and the legs. And again, you can do the staying still position there as well. So, like I say, the lifting is optional. We're all doing the same thing with our arms. You can play around with the raising version too. And of course, because it's posture work, we just do as many repetitions as we can. It's quite challenging. It's a good one to combine actually with the one we were just doing, because we've just really opened up and stretched through the chest. Now we're activating the opposite muscles, those upper back and shoulders. So you're getting that strong posture work, stretching through one side and activating through the other. Don't forget to keep breathing. Even if you lose the pattern of breath, that won't matter too much. We don't want to get stuck holding the breath, of course, here. So just be with that breathing. Very nice. Now, we're all going to, of course, be doing a different amount on this one, but when you have finished, just rest for a moment. You'll probably want to move your arms because it's not always super comfortable having them back there. So just bring them up to wherever is comfy and just rest there for a moment. Good. So we're going to come up and do a little bit of stability challenge next. So before we do that, we'll just make sure the head is comfortable for a moment. Tuck the toes under and give the hips a little rock there. So we're just having a nice easy loosening through the low back and hips. And shake out the legs as well. Okay. And from there we're going to come up. So bring the hands by the shoulders, pop yourself up, and then take a little roll here. So just do our normal pattern of cat and cow, and we might do that a couple of times. We may stay in positions or we may move fluidly, up to you. We also go into the hip slide, so we look over the shoulder to the one side, feeling the stretch through the other, and then go to the other side. And again, you may stay there or you might move between. Once you've done each of those a couple of times, it's then moving in and out of those 4 different positions, up and down, side to side, that will give you lots and lots of different stretchy positions for your back. And every everybody's will be slightly different. So it's just a case of finding your way through your back and where it wants to go. Okay, so once we've had a good wriggle around there, hands go forward. We're going to go to high hips because we're going to actually come back onto our hands in a second. So high hips, slightly soft elbows, just give your chest and shoulders a couple of breaths to stretch there. Okay, now we're going to come back up, and for our supported work, you can either do this on your hands, or if you need to be off your wrists or elbows for any reason, come into your forearms because that will spread the weight a lot more. Either way, we're going to be working strongly into the hip and thigh and challenging our core strength with our stability. So I'm sending one leg out. It doesn't matter which one you start with, but we're going to do it all on this side and then all on the other. Lift just to where it's comfortable, but you're not losing position. And then we're going out and in. So I'm coming away into a little diagonal toe tap, lift and back to center line. Breathe out as you go away, breathe in as you come back in. Now of course I'm trying to do this with maximum stability, so my hips aren't getting swung around. That was obviously exaggerated, but you know what I mean. So it's all about controlling the leg through that little outer tip. It's the same if you're on the elbows, exactly the same. So we lift to there, tap, lift. So you're going out on a diagonal and slightly down to tap the floor and then back into centre line. So it's super, super strong in your bum, outer hip and thigh, inner thigh, pelvic floor, deeper abdominals from holding and maintaining position. Don't forget to breathe. You might find yourself clenching your teeth and holding your breath. Try not to do that. And obviously upper body strength. When you're ready to change sides, of course, before you get too fatigued in this position, change over, lift the leg, slide to diagonal, tap, lift, return to center line. Open the leg, tap down, lift, return to center line, and then just get that pattern going. And like I say, it is the same whether you're on your hands or your elbows, so that's personal preference on what's most comfortable really. Either way, upper body is working strongly, and all those other things I said before, core, bum, hips, etc. So we didn't necessarily do a set amount, but if you know how many you did, do roughly the same, or just go by feel. You know, you probably did your first leg just until it felt fatigued, and just do your second leg until it feels fatigued. So up to you there. Okay, now we are going to finish all at different times, so when you have finished, we're going to go into the child's pose stretch. So obviously from here, just take the bottom back and come into your normal child's pose rest position. So hands creeping forward, head resting through centre, and just take a couple of breaths there, just while everyone's finishing off their last couple of reps. Very nice. Now, if you're still going, that's fine. Keep working. I want you to have time to do your maximum. If you've been in child's pose for a while and you want to come out of it, then feel free to come back onto your backs again. So we'll be finishing off there in a moment. So transition round to your back basically whenever you're ready from here. So you may have done a long child's pose, or you may have just done a little quick short one. But either way, we're going to head on round back to our backs. Okay, now we're back into normal setup position. So we've got knees bent, feet on the floor. We're connecting into our breathing. Earlier on, at the beginning, we did some single arm forward circles. So to do the opposite of that now, we're going to do some backward circles, but it's going to be both arms. So just the same as normal arm circles really, but we're only going one direction because we're going to even ourselves up from what we did earlier. So I'm coming into either a single leg or a double leg static tabletop position. I'm picking up my arms, palms face towards one another, and we're going backward arm circling. So I want this feeling of length and stretch through here, but maintaining rib cage connection to the mat. So strong ribs down, not low back, that stays natural and neutral, but big stretch here. Then we sweep around, of course, up to the top. You could add a leg movement to this if you want even more challenge. If you're in the two leg position, you could do a single leg stretch with that. If you're doing single leg work, of course, we normally change legs when we change direction, but we're not changing direction today. So you'll need to do maybe about 10 circles and then just change legs and do another 10, keep going the same way. It's like I say, we did a lot of forward arm circles earlier, so I want to do this backward movement. Big, nice stretchy shoulders, opening and releasing everything out, but at the same time, still having that connection to core. So we've got the rib cage control, we've got the nice neutral spine position, and particularly if you're moving the legs, you're not moving the pelvis, you're controlling the hips too. Okay. Very nice, they're looking good. So it's a nice combination of still working into the core, but also having a nice stretchy stretch out for the shoulders. Lovely. So once you get to the end of those, just come down into your little rest position. We'll be coming up in a minute and we'll all be stretching together, but just while you're here for a moment, maybe curl the knees in, give the back a little roll around. So maybe just do a bit of a circle there. That's always quite nice, I think, at the end, just to release out through the back. And around the other way as well. Once we've done a few circles each way, of course, we also want to go long with it too. So pop the legs down, stretch them out, point the toes, and really extend those arms overhead. In this stretch position, like we do with side stretching, we're going to breathe a bit more deeply. So we're encouraging the breath and using that to encourage the stretch. Okay, same thing with flexed feet, so pushing through those heels, lengthen the calves, again, just breathe. Just a couple of really nice deep breaths. Keep stretching the arms and then just point and flex your feet a couple of times so they're just continually moving up and down. That nicely moves and stretches through the ankles. Then relax the legs, give them a little shake, keep stretching those arms, but shake out the legs. And then circle the arms all the way back around. From here, we're going to bend the knees, bring the feet in, roll ourselves over, and pop ourselves up. And we'll just sit nice and comfortably as we come into our final little shoulder stretch here. So pushing forward, open out the shoulders, breathe. And release. Hands around the back, open out the chest. Again, just a couple of breaths there. And release. And our nice big side bends to finish, so reach it away. And over to the other side. Just a couple of breaths. And we're coming back. We give our shoulders a little release and roll. And we are done. Great work, everybody. Well done. Thank you so much.